stand up in class. Hello, students.
Hello, Ms.
Please sit down. Now we have collected the documents. What we need to do is to submit the documents to our tax
Bureau for review too.
See if they are approved. Next, let's invite our Kaishao to come to our VR experience area and simulate our tax service through our smart tax service null.
See if our documents have been reviewed.
Please turn around and go to the VR experience area to see how Kaishao's operation is carried out.
First of all, we need to put on our VR glasses.
Come to the Smart Tax Service Hall. And I'll then select our window for acceptance. Okay, now we come to the service hall, where there are many counters for handling affairs. One of them is our tax service counter. Now, Kaishao is going to our tax service counter
And submit the documents to our tax bureau staff.
Okay, we have come to the counter of the tax bureau staff. What we need to do is to hand over the documents to tax bureau staff one by one.
Set of documents is actually.
I downloaded it from the VR case. Okay, now we have handed over all the documents to the staff of the tax bureau, and we have to wait for the staff of the tax bureau to review it. It takes a little time, so please wait a little patiently. Okay, now we see Kaishao. Back to our tax service office. Let's take a look at the results of the review. Why appear the word not approved?
Well, that means there may be incorrect information in our documents.
I would like to ask everyone for help too. Ferret out what's wrong with our document? Take a look at your desktop.
I have given each group
a copy of the same document.
Next, each group review and discuss. And find out if there is any problem in the documents. We'll make Tax Bureau not approve our review.
After finding the problem, I'll talk it to our group leader quickly. The group leader will put the results of our discussion and upload it to the PBL platform of our learning link. Then please send a representative from the Power group to come up and tell us about that. What are the problems you found? Which student? Give him a round of applause and invite him to share with us. Next, let me sum up.
The following problems our group found.
The first is the name of the item on the declaration is inconsistent with the name of the invoice. One is filled preserved fruit, another is filled dried fruit. Secondly, the quantity of goods on the customs declaration form is also different from that on the informing invoice. The third is the name of the product is not standardized on the bill of lading,
which is issued by the logistics company.
There are several asterisks marketable, and it also inconsistent with the content of our contract. The last one is that the payer on the charged document is also different from the buyer of the contract. These are all the problems that our group has found. My answer is over, thank you. Very good. Did the other groups add to what the Power group said? Let's ask the students of the Patriotic group to add something.
Ms., we also found one document stated that
when the input tax invoice is checked, the selection is to check the certification of deduction instead of tax refund checkbox certification, and the quantity of the goods on the customer's declaration
is different from the quantity on the incoming invoice.
Okay, let's give a round of applause to the students in the Patriotic group. Are there any other groups have different ideas? Power group, Patriotic group? Not yet, right? In fact, we have missed a point. You can have a look on our contract.
You can see it stated the export place is Malaysia. Actually, it is the export place of Singapore on the bill of lading.
Have you found it?
This point is relatively hard to find.
Few students are likely to find out. So, it reminds us that in the future work,
we need to be more accurate, right? In fact, these problems we just saw are also difficulties encountered by many of our enterprises in the process of export tax rebate.
So we get this problem to the senior experts of Tax Bureau and consult it.
Let's see what suggestions the experts of the Tax Bureau will give us.
Hello, everyone. Cross-border export sales enterprises will indeed face more difficulties or problems in the process of declaring export tax rebates. In fact, the problems you encounter can be operated in this way.
First, we can communicate with the procurement department.
No invoices are issued at the time of purchase. Then after the customs declaration is completed, the invoice is issued according to the customs declaration. In that case, we can avoid the problem of inconsistency between the information in the invoice and the declaration form. Secondly, logistics departments and logistics companies should communicate well in advance about the documents that should be filled in, such as the name, specification, unit and quantity of export commodities.
When exporting, ask them to fill in strictly
in accordance with the policy provisions of export tax rebates, to ensure that the documents are in compliance.
In actual work, whether enterprises can achieve the integration of enterprise, finance, and tax, and their compliance.
Financial personnel actually play a very important role. A professional and competent financial staff, who is familiar with policies and business processes, is a key factor for cross-border export sales enterprises to move towards fiscal and tax compliance, or an important role. So, everyone in seat, whether in study or in future work, we all need to uphold this rigorous, serious, and meticulous work attitude. This is an important basis for achieving life goals and all social values.
Okay, very appreciate for the answers given by the expert, and some very good advices.
He suggested that
Financial staff should do a good job in the integration of enterprise, finance, and taxation,
and can actively communicate with each department first. In this way, it will be more convenient for us to carry out export tax rebate. Of course, he also gave us some advice, right? He suggested that if we become a financial person,
we should be more rigorous, more meticulous, and more serious.
Only in this way can we do our work better.